Listen, before the world carried a name, I already was. What I am about to say does not belong to a temple, nor to a book closed on a shelf. It belongs to the place where you are breathing right now. They called me teacher, prophet, king. Verily, I did not come to found a religion. I came to open a door, and that door stands inside you. You searched for me in rituals, in repeated prayers, in rules that promised peace and delivered only weariness. You looked outside for what never stopped living within. I once said, "The kingdom of God cometh not with observation, for behold, the kingdom of God is within you." Those words left my mouth 2,000 years ago. They are still waiting, quiet, for someone to hear them with the heart, not only with the ears. Subscribe to this channel now. Leave a like and write in the comments what is stirring in your chest. Your sharing carries this message to whoever is ready to receive it. Stay with me until the end. The revelation that closes this journey is the deepest of all. It may change forever the way you understand your own life. I spoke in parables, not to hide the truth, but to awaken it. Verily, the truth I carry does not fit into intellect alone. It asks for something deeper than understanding. Who hath ears to hear, let him hear, I said. Hear what? Not words shaped into doctrine, not memorized commandments, but a presence awakened within you. Every parable was a door, not a wall. I gave you riddles so your mind would rest and your spirit could finally listen. They built systems in my name. They raised walls, hierarchies, doctrines. I understand the human wish to organize mystery inside safe boxes. Verily, what I brought was never a building. It was a mirror. Every true mirror returns to you your own face, not mine. God is a spirit, I said, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. Not in stone, not in ceremony, but in the quiet truth of your own being. They built systems in my name. They raised walls, hierarchies, doctrines. I understand the human wish to organize mystery inside safe boxes. Verily, what I brought was never a building. It was a mirror. Every true mirror returns to you your own face, not mine. God is a spirit, I said, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. Not in stone, not in ceremony, but in the quiet truth of your own being. Let me ask you this. If the truth was never outside of you, why did you spend your whole life searching out there? What happens the moment you stop searching and simply begin to observe? That is exactly where the real journey begins. Every altar you built outside was a reflection of the altar waiting inside. You looked for a distant God and missed the near one. Draw nigh to God, and he will draw nigh to you, I said through my servant James. Nearness was never a matter of distance. It was always a matter of attention. I rarely gave direct answers. I pointed. I redirected your attention again and again inward. When thou prayest, enter into thy closet, I said, and pray to thy Father which is in secret. Not a room with 4 walls, but the quiet chamber of your own heart. The kingdom of God is within you, I said again. Not in a temple of stone, not in an institution, within. Pause for a moment and feel the weight of these words. They are not a symbol. They describe an exact territory, a state of awareness beyond thought, beyond the identity you were taught to wear as if it were skin, beyond the name given to you at birth. Beyond the story you have repeated so many times, you began to believe it was you. It is the spirit that quickeneth, I said, the flesh profiteth nothing. The words I speak unto you, they are spirit, and they are life. Inside you there lives a spark that life did not create and the world cannot erase, something that can only be remembered, never manufactured. Verily, that is what I called the kingdom, not a place to reach at the end of life, an origin to recall now. Ye are the temple of the living God, I said through my servant Paul. I will dwell in you and walk in you. That promise was never distant. Most turned my invitation into theology because theology can be argued and mastered with the mind. Transformation asks for something else. It asks for surrender. If any man will come after me, let him deny himself, I said. That never meant destruction. It meant transcendence. Seeing through the mask, you learned to call yourself, losing the argument to gain the awakening, letting go of the need to be right about who you are. You built a mask to move through the social world. Beneath that mask, there is something quieter, older, something that watches everything without being shaken. It was exactly that witness I was always pointing to. Not the face you show to others, the awareness behind every face you have ever worn. Man looketh on the outward appearance, I said through my servant Samuel, but the Lord looketh on the heart. Your heart was never the mask. It was always the witness beneath it. Now let this question rest in you. If everything you believe yourself to be was constructed, who are you without those constructions? Not the name, not the story you keep repeating, not the wounds of the past, but the one who witnesses all of it happening, the one who was there before the first wound and will remain after the last one heals. Except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God, I said to a ruler named Nicodemus. That birth was never about water alone. It was about seeing yourself for the first time. The moment you observe instead of identify, something opens. A space is born. A silence settles in. And inside that silence, something very old begins to wake up in you. Not a new voice, but the oldest one you have ever known, the one beneath every other voice. Be still and know that I am God, I said through my servant David. Stillness was never empty. It was the doorway. I asked many times, having eyes, see ye not? It sounded like a simple question. Verily, it aimed at something deep. The way you interpret reality in every single instant. Two people can stand in the same room and see two different worlds. The room never changed. The eyes did. Take heed, therefore, how ye hear, I said. For whosoever hath shall be given more, and whosoever hath not shall lose even what he seems to hold. You believe you see the world as it is, but you see it through layers of conditioning, fear, and memory. What you call reality is, more often than you know, a projection of your own wounded mind, not because the world is false, but because the lens is bent. Heal the lens, and the world you meet will change with it. Judge not according to the appearance, I said, but judge righteous judgment. What your eyes report first is rarely the whole truth. The light of the body is the eye, I said. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. When perception is fragmented by judgment and fear, reality bends and distorts in front of you. When perception unifies, the light returns. Not because the world changed, but because you changed the place from which you look. But if thine eye be evil, Thy whole body shall be full of darkness, I warned. Guard the eye, and you guard the whole house within you. Two people walk through the same storm. One sees destruction, the other sees a beginning. The difference was never in the storm. It was always in the eye that beholds it. The wind does not choose who it breaks and who it builds. Peace, be still, I said unto the sea, and the wind ceased. The storm outside answered my voice. The storm within answers your gaze. This is why I never asked you to change the world first. I asked you to wake your own perception, to remove the veils and let the light back in. And here the question turns personal. If you could see without fear and without judgment, what would life reveal to you? And who would you be inside that new sight? Ye are the light of the world, I said. A city set on a hill cannot be hid. Let your light so shine that others may see it and glorify the Father. There is a space, subtle and almost invisible, between you and your thoughts. Perhaps you have already felt it in a quiet moment, an instant when you stop being trapped inside the noise of the mind. If you can observe a thought, then you are not that thought. If you can notice fear rising, something in you remains larger than the fear. That something is steady. Take no thought for your life, I said, for your Father knoweth what things ye have need of. The one who worries is not the one who watches. Learn to be the watcher. I am not of this world, I said. When I spoke those words, I was not describing separation from life. I was describing an identity deeper than the body, older than any name you have ever worn. Before Abraham was, I am, I said. That declaration was never only about me as a historical man. It points to a principle that also lives in you. The silent awareness watching every thought, every feeling, every day of your life unfold. In quiet moments, you have already felt this, a wordless presence, a simple state of being with no need to do, to prove, to conquer. But the mind returns soon after with its stories, its fears, its urgency to define everything, and you lose contact with that presence again. There is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, I said, neither hid that shall not be known. What you call awakening was never a discovery. It was an uncovering. I and my Father are one, I said. For centuries they read those words as mine alone. Verily, they describe a unity that also belongs to you. As long as you feel separate from life, there will be conflict between you and the world, between you and others, between you and yourself. But separation never lived in reality, it only lived in perception. That they all may be one, I prayed, as thou, Father, art in me, and I in thee. Love thy neighbor as thyself, I said. Notice this closely. I never said, love your neighbor as someone separate from you. I said, as yourself. Because at the deepest level, what you do to another, you do to yourself. Not as a rule to obey, but as a truth to recognize. Inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, I said, ye have done it unto me. There was never a boundary between them and me. Love that is forced is not love. Love is born on its own the instant the illusion of separation dissolves. You cannot command a river to flow uphill. Neither can you command the heart to love from fear. Most tried to love from the fear of losing, and that fear built cages, not love. When awareness matures, love stops being something you trade. Herein is love, I said through my servant John, not that we loved God, but that he loved us first. Love was never a debt to repay. It was always the ground you stand on. I did not come to create followers of a religion. I came to awaken a direct recognition. What you are at your core was never separate from truth. Never separate from life. Never separate from what you call God. Every road you thought led away from me was, in truth, a road back to yourself. The kingdom of God is within you, I said. Not a pretty metaphor to decorate a sentence, a literal revelation. What you seek is the very awareness reading these words right now, silent, present, constant, and still so often overlooked. Every teaching, in the end, dissolves. Every identity loosens its grip. Truth was never something to hold in your hands. It is something you are. Keep this remembrance and carry it with you when the day grows hard. The kingdom was never far away. The truth was never hidden. You only needed to stop, breathe, and look within. That is the whole journey. Not a road of years, but a return of a single instant. I came to reveal this, and now you already know. Subscribe to this channel now. Your subscription helps my true awareness reach more people who need this understanding. Do not keep this only for yourself. Before you go on with your day, write this sentence in the comments. The kingdom of God is within me. Let it stand as a light for whoever arrives after you, still searching outside for what only exists within you, my beloved child.